when you think about giving your life to working in sports, you do so for the moments that you think you might be able to lift a community. But you never imagine what it could mean to lift a community coast to coast. Not just to raise spirits, but to unite people. Not just to give people reason to cheer, but to give people a reason to feel better about everything going on in the world right now. And for a period of time, you know, it was an affirmation of every reason you work in sports. And then even better to me is when you read deeper in those emails or listen to the comments walking along the street, it was what people recognized about this team. Because I can tell you, having been involved with winning teams or having friends at work in a variety of sports, fans cheer winning regardless of who's on the field. They like to win. Everybody likes to win. But when you hear everyone uniformly pointing out the same attributes and characteristics and traits that we work so hard as an organization to instill, when they notice how authentically a group of teammates love and care for each other, when they notice how genuinely those players want for the fans to win, like genuinely and deeply want it for our fans to win, when they recognize their toughness, you know, this is a group that almost, it's tough to have your back against the wall. This is a group that almost savored having their backs against the wall. They had to win 4 in a row, the last 4 games of the season, to a very pivotal AL East championship that was meaningful to the, you know, to the stretch run and the postseason run. They had their backs against the wall 0-2 in the ALCS, multiple elimination games, and they always responded. And they noticed that toughness. They noticed that grit, that resilience, that determination, and ultimately what it meant to be a teammate. So it wasn't just that the team won, it was how they won. It wasn't just that they were the players in the field as they accomplished some championships and great things. It was what they stood for as they did it. And ultimately, you could watch them play the game and everything else around the game and know what their identity was as a team and know what our identity was as an organization. And I think each of us throughout the country saw us in them. They saw the things that inspired us, the things that lift us, the reasons to believe, the reasons to feel belonging and a part of something. And as I sought to move forward, my overarching sentiment was one of gratitude. You know, first and foremost for our players and our staff for the unbelievable and exceptional effort they gave throughout the entire season, for the expectations they exceeded. No one expected them to do what they did, and for their belief in each other and for the fans they played for. Secondly, for our fans, you know, they were truly an extra player for us. They lifted us. We felt their support from coast to coast across the country. Third, for the organization, it takes exceptional efforts, not just strong efforts, throughout an entire organization, from people working in anonymity down in Dunedin, rehabbing, to people cleaning the concourse and making sure our systems work in this massive ballpark throughout an entire season, to people selling tickets, to people doing, you know, analysis of pitch data, to people rehabbing players. It's an entire organization recognizing that their work is not just meaningful, but essential for us to achieve high levels of success. And finally, to Edward Rogers and Tony Staffieri for leading an ownership group to an exceptional, unprecedented level of support, commitment, and belief this year, but I think even more in past years when maybe the success wasn't as easy to see. That's when it was most meaningful. So I moved forward. It's not easy to do. It's hard to do. I mentioned to Andrea on the walk down, as we walked by the field, I hadn't looked at the field since Saturday. I haven't spent a moment. I don't think, I couldn't look at the field. And I looked out there today. But it's with the rearview mirror on that inspiration, on that gratitude, on that understanding of the ability and potential to lift our community of Canada, that I walk away inspired and recommitted to resume the pursuit, you know, with greater determination, with more resolve, and even more committed. So I think that's how I wanted to start today. That's a very genuine set of feelings. They're a little bit raw, a little bit emotional, but I'm incredibly grateful is really how I feel today.